Hi, welcome back to another edition of the Gargoyles Den Diecast. I'm Gargoyle, of course. And today we are up for, yes, you guessed it, I'm sure, another Super Van Sunday. Have all these out there. Want to have a little discussion about something I've noticed a lot of recently on videos. I'm trying to get my views up, obviously. And I've noticed in some videos, I don't agree with this, but some people will actually go to the extent of taking something like this, which is not in bad shape really. I mean, yeah, the paint needs to be redone, but other than that, there's nothing really wrong with it. And they'll take it out and bury it in dirt and sand or something, and then bring it back in and take a picture and saying, "Oh, I'm doing a restoration of that." And people buy into this. People, I mean, they've got 10 and 20,000 viewers, subscribers, watching this crap. I'm like, that's what is going to sell? I mean, I would think something like this that is naturally like that already, that you don't have to basically falsify to try and sensationalize it and make it seem like it's more than it's not. So, I don't know. It annoys me. Rant over, I guess. That was my rant on it. But anyway, these are actually all ones that I've gotten off eBay lately, so that I have plenty of them in stock for the Supervan Sundays. But yeah, after these are gone, then I'm going to switch to Supervan Sundays. So for now, I'm going to start collecting another casting, which is actually my favorite casting. Is going to be probably even more expensive than these. These run me an average of about $10 a piece. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but you can't get some of them. These plastic-based ones, I hate paying $10 a piece for those, but the metal-based ones, I don't mind as much. They're a little sturdier. Plastic-based ones, though, yeah, they're not my favorite, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to do nothing but steel bases all the time. Alright, so anyway, for today's Supervan Sunday, I think we're going to do the ball flame Supervan that I've been talking about. I don't know what the real name of this is for the decal. I just call it a ball flame because it's all grouped together instead of spread out, like, say, this one, where it's spread out all over. This one just goes right down here in the middle with a few flames off to the side. So, yeah, that's what I call it, the ball flame. And it goes on a blue similar to this one, which I thought about using this one because, yeah, the bottom of it's shot and the wheels are the same size. It doesn't have the big wheels in the back like it needs. But yeah, I'm not going to use that one. I'm just going to do one from scratch. So let's, in the interest of my rant a little bit ago, let's go with what I think is the worst one of the bunch. And we'll see if the thumbnail, I'll do a thumbnail of a before and after of it. And the after, another thing I've seen people do is that they'll blur the after to create the mystery and make you want to see what they actually did. So maybe I'll do that with the thumbnail, see if that helps too. I don't know. If you got any comments or suggestions, then go ahead and leave them in the comments. And, I read everything, so good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and get this started. Get these out of the way. Alright. Oh, as you can see, the one I grabbed is a plastic base. I should have looked at that before I grabbed it. Damn it. Alright, I already said I'm doing it, so I'm doing it. Don't need center punch though, obviously. These are really small rivets in this one too, if you look. Hopefully that focuses in. They're a lot smaller than usual, and they're the ones that already have the hole in them. So yeah, they're pretty chintzy. Well, that was almost enough to take the whole thing off without having to do another control size. And as you saw, all I did was take that very little edge off here. Because, yeah, I mean, these are little bitty ones. We don't want to go into that plastic if we can avoid it. Same thing on the front. Light pry right in the middle. There we go. And that's how you get the plastic piece off without any damage whatsoever. It's got the blue glass. As you guys already probably know, if you don't know, most of these Supervans came with the gray glass, gray tinted glass, and it's kind of like a rubbery material. Blue glass is pretty much the same material, feels like. Might be a little harder, but not much. But yeah, it cleans up a lot nicer and looks pretty nice. Got an example of that here on the custom 18 that I did. That was the blue glass. It came out looking pretty good. So yeah, I'm happy to see that. Let's go ahead and get the wheels off here, because yeah, we're not keeping those wheels. Thing with the wheels, you always want to try and avoid breaking these tabs off, because with these plastic bases, it's very possible. So I push down with the screwdriver and then try to pop the wheel up like so to keep from breaking the tabs off. Like so. Toss these two into the Zep degreaser, and we'll take this over. Oh, here, let me file it real quick. I always forget that, or I try to anyway. I don't normally forget it, but I try to forget it. There we go. Just for giggles. Never hurts to dry fit it back together, make sure everything fits back together perfectly. And that way you can tell if you need to sand it down anymore or not. So now this one, if you look, it's still coming right to the plastic. There's still just a little bit of a gap there. The back is fine, but there's a little bit of a gap there, so I'm going to sand down that front one just a hair more, so that it'll sit down there. I mean, you could sand it all the way down to the big part, but you don't need to. There we go. There should be plenty. Oh yeah. Pop back in. There it goes. There we are. Now there's no gap. So yeah. Take these off to the degreaser. I'm going to go drill this on the drill press real quick, and then it will be off to the regurgitation juice. After that, there's not going to be much body work to do. I'll come back and buff it up with a abrasive wheel, and then I'll head right back over to the paint. So stay tuned. Alright, we are back from the regurgitation juice / aka stripper. And this body is definitely rough. Like I said, I thought I picked out what I thought was roughest for, and yeah, it looks like it's living up to those thoughts. Yeah, it's looking pretty crusty. But it doesn't really matter because we're going with a metallic blue solid, so it's going to cover all that anyway. So all we gotta do is bring out our abrasives and go ahead and get this all cleaned up, and then we take it over to paint. I have to bring out the wire wheel just to get into these grooves. We'll see how well it cleans up. Other than that, there's no real, fine details that this can't get into on this. Alright, so I've got the body over in the dehydrator, trying to get it all dried out and ready to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the base is cleaned up and how the glass is looking. Hopefully everything's going good with that. Oh yeah, look at that base. That's beautiful. Go ahead and take that to the kitchen sink and give it a wash off. And I'll bring it back and rinse off with IPA before I go ahead and put a coat of Molotov Chrome on it. Now, for the glass. Oh. Yep. Unfortunately, especially considering it's the blue glass that I love, but they got some kind of paint on the inside here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that off. It's almost hard. What it is. This other way before I spill it. I don't know what kind of paint it is or whatever, but yeah, the zip degreaser didn't touch it. Well, that takes paint. It's just like super clean. It takes paint off everything. But yeah, for some reason it's not doing it on this. So I'm going to have to go to my parts box and see if I can get a gray windshield. Not the end of the world though. So I'm sure I've got some. If not, I've got a few other Supermans that one or two of them might have a good windshield in them. Just maybe have one or two. Take some Molotov Chrome. I use a chrome refill. It doesn't take a lot to do this. That's probably more than enough. And then I'm spraying it through a 0.3 tip, so I like to dilute it a little. I use the paint reducer. Not much, a few drops. Now one of the keys is to let this sit for a couple minutes to let the chemicals activate with each other. And then when you spray it, you want to spray a nice wet coat and then leave it alone. And if you do all that right, it should come out looking great. That looks much better. Alright, so let's put that in the dehydrator. Clean my brush out. And as soon as this is done in the dehydrator, we can take it back over, put some wheels on it, and put it back together. In the meantime, I'm going to grab the body and put the decals on and go ahead and gloss it and get it ready for the dehydrator as well. Stay tuned. Alright, we are back from the dehydrator where you put the decals on. And while I was away, I went ahead and popped the wheels on the base. You just pop in. There's nothing special to it, so don't have to glue them in or anything. Not a biggie. I should show these. Got a Microsol microset. Use the microset first, and then Microsol's secondary, or the after application, I guess. be the way to say it. This would be the before. I already cut the decals out. Now, let's look at something here before I get too far ahead of myself here. So I was looking at these and it looked possibly like maybe these is another one of those sets that was too large. So let's kind of see how they size up first. Yeah, they are a little big. Let's just, if I move that one all the way back, that back stripe might have to wrap around just a hair. It's either that or I have to cut it, which is possible too. Gosh, I do not like. That's how it's supposed to be. Way big. I'm just gonna have to make it where it goes on both sides like so. That's what's gonna look best. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do what's gonna look good. Because if it don't look good, I'm gonna get pissed off and strip it again. And I ain't got time for all that. So let's make this work. Go ahead and get our microsol on there. That'll melt down like this little spot right here. You can see that. It'll melt that down smooth. So I don't have to worry about that, and then it'll melt everything. All these outside edges will melt in. All because of the microsol. Let that sit on there a couple minutes. We'll come back and we'll be able to brush that. It should flatten out no problem. Don't mess with it too much after you put this on though, because yeah, you can definitely ruin your decals quickly. People probably wonder what I'm doing here. I always worry that microsol sometimes discolors the paint a little bit if you get it on just in one area and not try to make it all blend in. So I like to try and blend it in a little, just to make sure. Just an extra abundance of caution. Alright, well, now with decals, with the microsol microset, yes, you can put it in the dehydrator, but I like to let them sit for a few minutes before I do that, because the whole thing with microsol microset is the chemical reaction to the plastic. It takes time to melt it. If I speed it up by sticking it in the dehydrator, you know, it's not going to do as good of a job. So I actually like to give it a little time here before I stick it in the dehydrator to let all this dry out and stuff, and then I'll stick it in the dehydrator to make sure that I get any excess water that's under the decals out before we put another coat of clear over the decals. Once we do that, we come back and we're ready to put this back together and do our reveal. Stay tuned. And here's what we came up with in the end. It came out looking pretty good. The windshield still got a little bit of a scratch there, but not enough to where I'm worried about it. Compared to what it looked like, this is 1,000 times better than what it was. So if you like what I came up with, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with others. And stay tuned for more content to come. Until next time, that's all, folks. Bye now.